On a yearly basis, you're always, or not yearly basis, all year round, you're constantly hearing about different sports teams and this person's getting traded to this team, and this one left this team for this reason, or the free agents, and just different things like that, and how much money they're making, and how much like they're signing their contracts for. And for me, I'm always thinking like that is so much money. Like, why are they making that much money? Like, how? Like, what? Like literally just like why they're making that much money. So I asked my family members what their opinion on whether they thought athletes are getting overpaid, and most of them said yes. I asked my uncle, and he said that they were being overpaid. I asked my aunt, she said that she believes that they're being overpaid because there's so much money for that, and then like there's things like government jobs when like hospitals are being underfunded or different things like that. So today I'm going to try and persuade you that pro athletes are being overpaid in comparison to other beneficial government jobs. In my opinion, I believe that they're being overpaid. There's government jobs that are making way less money than you see athletes making. But we as society are putting the money in the pocket, like as sports fans are putting the money into the pockets of pro athletes. We pay millions of dollars yearly in revenues for each sports team. The U.S. Census Bureau reported that in 2016, the common household income was $59,039. But then you have government jobs like teachers who make $58,030 in the year 2016. Kind of like what my sister said about how like teachers and like my dad he's constantly saying like I should be paid more for everything that I do. Like teachers teach us literally everything that we need to be successful basically. Like we learn, like in this class we're learning like public speaking, and then like you're taking certain things for a career later on in life, like nursing or like engineering or things like that, and they're teaching us what we need to be successful in that. Also, we have police officers. They make $60,207 in the year 2015 was their median salary. Police officers constantly are like they stop many things. They stop like criminals, and they protect us from daily things that could happen, like just like constant like dangers that are going on around us. I mean, I don't really like the police, but like there's still good police that are actually doing like the right thing, like somewhere out there. And last is doctors and nurses. Their median salaries between $68,490 to $180,000. Doctors and nurses literally save people's lives on a daily basis. They help come up with new like cures and things for diseases that in the future could potentially save someone's life. They literally save people's lives every day, and they're not getting paid as much as athletes. And so I want to compare it to like common names or like sports athletes that you can hear, like LeBron James. On July 9th of 2018, he signed a $153.3 million contract with the Lakers. And another example would be Steph Curry. He signed, in 2017, he signed a 5-year contract extension with the Golden State Warriors, and for $201 million. And lastly, you have Odell Beckham Jr. He signed, in 2018, he signed a 5-year contract extension with the New York Giants for $130 million, making him the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history. You hear things like that, and it's just like, why are they making that much money? Like, you have people that are saving lives on a daily basis, and like, what are they doing? I don't want to like downgrade them because they do like work out constantly. Like they don't really have the time off, and they work all year long. They have endorsements like LeBron. He has endorsements with Nike, Coke, Lay's Pizza, and different things like that. So they do make money off of endorsements, but we're basically paying him to entertain us during like a season. In conclusion, I believe that pro athletes are being overpaid. We have people like LeBron James and them making millions and millions of dollars, but we could be putting that money to hospitals for underfunding of the doctors and nurses. We could be giving it to the police officers that are saving lives, like out in the workforce, giving money to like firefighters that just, like example, like the California fire that just happened, like they're not gonna make nearly as much money as LeBron James is making for him to run around the court and do the ball and shoot baskets when they're out there putting their lives on the line to save lives and houses and stuff. And my aunt, I'm gonna conclude with what my aunt said. She said, but as long as we can pay, then they charge us. And
So, Gio, some thoughts?
All right. So, I thought the topic was actually a really good topic. I think it is really important, that topic that you brought up, that how are athletes more paid, how are athletes paid more considering that, firefighters and policemen, put their life on the line every single day. I think that is a really important factor in society today. I like the whole, I feel like you did have a pretty decent structure on the speech. Some problems that I saw though was that you were relying a little bit too much on your notes and not really having, you had the statistics, you had the evidence, but you kind of relied a little bit too much on that. I feel like that was like a little bit of an issue. I saw the nervousness come out on your sweater there. A little bit too much playing with the sweater, but that was, everything else was pretty legit. You were engaged with us, you were talking to us, you had eye contact, so that's basically all I got.
Okay, well, were you done? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
I'll start with the delivery issues that you're finishing with. I think your eye contact is generally good. You do have to look over occasionally at your notes on the side. That's a little distracting. And I did notice that you're kind of playing with the drawstring on your jacket a little bit. That's where your anxiety's coming out. So you need to be a little bit more confident and practice a little bit more so that you feel like you are the one who's in charge here giving the speech. And you want to get us engaged by using your body that way and creating a good relationship. Your voice comes in and out. Sometimes you sound like you are, confident and sure what you're talking about. Other times it just drops out. Like at the end of the speech, it's like I'm going to turn the volume down and I'm kind of done. And you want to be more consistent on that. So those are the delivery issues. The content things. There's a lot of stuff in here that's pretty solid. You basically are making a value claim here. Your criteria is that people who get paid ought to be paid based on the value of their contribution to society, and you mentioned teachers or police officers, doctors and nurses, and a variety of other kinds of jobs which are all valuable, and you tell us you know, the kinds of contributions that people are making there, and you tell us sort of what their salaries are. I think that that's pretty reasonable. And then you contrast that to the salaries that are being paid to professional athletes and how outrageous they are. An easy way to maybe do that would be making, let's say, that doctor's salary, assuming the doctor's at the high end, $180,000, and they save lives. You know, LeBron's getting, I can't do the math in my head that fast, he's getting like 1,000 times as much as a doctor is getting paid, you know, which seems to me like disproportionate. That, not saying that what LeBron does is unimportant or that it doesn't have value, but is it 1,000 times more valuable in this way? That's the way I think you want to present this argument, and that's your criteria. Whether or not that's a solid criteria, I think your aunt put it the correct way at the end. As long as people are willing to pay that, they're going to be getting that kind of money. The determination of value is not necessarily made by some standard like you're talking about. You know, how many lives did you save this year? How many professions did you launch? How many careers did you affect? It's affected by what people see as being valuable, the scarcity of a particular resource, for instance. And as hard as it is to believe, it is harder to find somebody like LeBron who can do those things than it is to find somebody who's a heart surgeon or a neurologist or a nurse doing those other kinds of things. They have very specialized skills. Now, there is a question about whether or not we are appropriately valuing those skills. I think that's where there might be another argument, a different argument that you're talking about, that we have elevated entertainment above other kinds of things, and that's why we have this particular problem. So I think there's a more essential part of the argument that needs to be talked about that you don't quite get to. But I did like the statistical information that you had on salaries for doing the comparisons. I think that you kind of put it in a common sense sort of way. It seems a little preposterous to be paying somebody, you know, $200 million for doing this when somebody else who makes these kinds of contributions gets paid so much less. That seems unfair. Is the argument that everybody else should get paid more, or that these people should be paid less? I mean, I'm not sure that LeBron, you know, taking his 200 million, saying, no, you just get $1 million for what you're doing, and we're going to take the other 100 and whatever it was, 62 million, I know, 152 million, excuse me, and we're going to fund some hospitals with that, or, you know, that seems to me like that would be really problematic to present that kind of an argument, and that's sometimes the argument that you're presenting. So I think like I said, the issue that needs a little bit more development is whether or not we have our priorities straight, and there's an argument to be made that we don't really have that straight either. All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Sure.
Do we have to, for the written evaluation, do we have to put it on YouTube video?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.